Welcome, dear students, to another lesson in history. In today's lesson, you'll learn about the Trans-Saharan trade routes and the effects of the trade in West Africa. And under that, we'll talk about the trade routes, we'll discuss the various factors that facilitated the growth and as well the fall of the trade. And lastly, we'll talk about the effects of the Trans-Saharan trade in West Africa. During the Trans-Saharan trade area, several trade routes were established. These routes linked oases and various trading centers from the north to the south of the Sahara. The trade routes needed protection from desert marauders parading the region, which sometimes hindered smooth travels. Hence, trading caravans were guarded by highly paid Berbers who knew the desert and could manage relations with their fellow desert nomads for safe passage and good trade relationship. The Trans-Saharan trade concentrated on four major trade routes that connected North Africa to West Africa. The first trade route began in Morocco and it ran through Taoudini to Timbuktu on the Niger. The Niger served as a major stop where goods were offloaded for camels and they were loaded in canoes to reach the forest towns to the coast area. Also, goods from the forest regions were reloaded on the camels for trade in North Africa. A second trade route began in Tripoli, which ran through Gahadamis and the oasis of Hair to the trade centers of Katsina and Kano. A third trade route, known as the Bonu Tripoli route, also began in Tripoli and ran through the oases of Mozik in Fizan to Brini, a major trade center in Kanem Borno Empire. And a fourth trade route ran from Cyrenaica in eastern Tripoli through Kufra, Towara, and Abechi, which were major trade centers in the kingdoms of Wadai and Darfur. Other trade routes linked these trade routes and ran through the northern, eastern, central, and western Sahara to form the network through which the Trans-Saharan trade thrived. It is instructive to note that between the 17th and the 18th century, the Trans-Saharan trade tilted towards the ancient Kanem Borno Empire, being the greatest power of the region at that time. The Kanem Borno Empire extended at varying times to the areas now belonging to southern Chad, northern Cameroon, northeastern Nigeria, and southern Libya. The rulers controlled the trade routes and trade centers, and they acquired great wealth not only from the trade but also from tolls, duties, and tributes. Caravan trade continued along the Sahara throughout the 19th century, but it declined over time until it was put to a halt following the delineation of national boundaries in the 19th to the early 20th century by European colonialists. Now, let's talk about the effects of the Trans-Saharan trade. The trade facilitated massive interaction between North Africa and West Africa, both at the political and the social economic level. One of the impacts of the trade or the effects of the trade in West Africa is that it led to the establishment of empires and kingdoms. It also led to the depopulation of Africa due to the slave trade. It also led to development of all urban centers such as Gao, Kano, Guinea, Walata, and Timbuktu. Another effect of the trade is that it led to intermarriage between the people from North and West Africa. It facilitated intrastate and intra-community trade among the people in various empires, thus fostering a greater understanding among the people of the region. It also led to the introduction of international and inter-regional trade in Africa. It led to the introduction and the use of camels as a means of transportation. And it also led to the exchange of ideas, foreign culture and values, Arabic languages and education, Islamic system of administration, dressing, eating habits, ceremonies, and so on was made possible across the empires both in West Africa and North Africa. It also increased warfare due to introduction of the gun. Lastly, let's talk about the challenges of the Trans-Saharan trade. The Trans-Saharan traders were faced with various challenges. They included the long and tiring journey in the desert, scarcity of resources, and extreme weather conditions. Sometimes it will be extremely hot during the day and extremely cold at night. At the same time, the Tuaregs changed their roles from guiding to attacking the traders. Recall we talked earlier in our last class that the Tuaregs served as guards in the desert, but instead of protecting the people that they were supposed to protect, the Tuaregs changed their roles from guarding to attacking the traders to stealing from the traders. And the traders were also attacked by desert creatures such as scorpions and snakes. Another challenge that was faced by the traders during the time was language barrier and also sandstorm that sometimes buried the traders. So these are some of the challenges that were faced by the traders during the Trans-Saharan trade era. And with this, we have come to the end of our class for today. Until we meet again in our next class, goodbye and stay safe.